Okay, yes. So this is at least a partial, if not a full, and we're reading this because there are several concurrences here, but it's written by Justice Barrett, which goes against the ruling that I just gave the guidance because she's one of the least junior justices, but she was assigned to write this opinion. And essentially what she says, some say that the universal injunctions give the judiciary a powerful tool to check the executive branch, but she says federal courts do not exercise general oversight of the executive branch. They resolve cases and controversies consistent with the authority Congress has given to them. When a court concludes the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power, sounding very much like they are limiting these injunctions. We know here that they have granted at least partially the stay to these preliminary injunctions, but they say only to the extent that the injunctions are broader than necessary to provide complete relief to each plaintiff withstanding to sue. They say the lower courts have to move expeditiously with respect to each of these plaintiffs. It says the injunctions are also stayed to the extent that they prohibit executive agencies from developing and issuing public guidance about the executive plans to implement the executive order. If you remember, part of this executive order on birthright citizenship, the stay was that the agencies that would be responsible for actually implementing the change with birthright citizenship, those agencies couldn't even start making a plan. So that part of it is lifted as well. We do see that the dissent here comes from the three justices you expect. It looks like Justice Sotomayor filed the dissent. Kagan and Jackson joined that. Justice Jackson also filed a dissenting opinion, but there are a lot of concurrences here. Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, there are others. So we'll parse through this, but at its first blush, it looks like this is a win in putting a limit on these nationwide injunctions. We'll see how far those limits go as we dig back through this.
Got it. Want to bring Jonathan Turley back in. Shannon, thank you.
So the Supreme Court made a decision today in June 27th, 2025, that's going to help President Trump. So in a simple way, the judge can stop Trump's executive order nationwide for the whole country. This isn't possible as they used to do before. So what is a big ruling? So we know Trump signed an order to change birthright citizenship. That happened on the first day he became a president. That was one of the main thing that he advocated for. So right now, any baby born here in the U.S., whether the parents are legal, have a legal status or not, they become U.S. citizens automatically. But Trump says that it's only baby born from U.S. citizens and legal residents that should be citizens, not those born from parents who were even illegal coming in here. We know what happened with the influx of illegal people coming into the country. It's like over 20 million, or over 10 million, over 15 million. So if all of these kids that will be born from these people become a U.S. citizen, it will be a big challenge. So Trump is trying to work on that. So what does the court say? So they didn't decide if Trump's executive plan is legal or not. That's what I said before. They say that judge can only block the plan for a specific people or states sign, not the U.S., not the whole U.S., which makes sense. You are a judge, you have a jurisdiction, so you can sign for your jurisdiction and you can sign for the specific people that you are under. So the plan starts on 28 states that didn't sue plan Trump. So there's on the 55 states, there's 22 states that sue plan or that blocked that one, and then there's 28 that didn't block that one. So but they pause for 30 days. So the 28 states pause for 30 days, and then the 22 states, including Washington and Maryland, and now New Hampshire, where people sue. So why is this a win for Trump? So judges, they used to stop his plan everywhere with one ruling. Now it's going to be hard for them to do that. They can't stop. So his citizenship plan can move forward in some states while lawsuits continue. That is the thing. So in other words, if the child of an illegal parent get born there, he gets the mom's nationality. He gets the person. But one question I'm asking: what if the mom come, she give birth, and then she leaves secretly? Whose nationality the mom? Who nationality? How, if they don't know what's the mother's nationality, what's going to happen then?
Sotomayor, writing for the dissent, says the parents of children covered by what she's calling the citizenship order would be well advised to file promptly class action suits and to request temporary injunctive relief for the class pending class certification. And so she's saying, listen, if you're one of these parents who are worried about what's going to happen with the citizenship of your child, you should be out there filing so that there will not be this patchwork, that every district will have an opportunity to weigh in. But she also says, get these cases moving quickly. She says lower courts would be advised to act swiftly on these requests for relief and to adjudicate the cases as quickly as they can so as to enable this court's prompt review, saying we have not decided that birthright citizenship question. We want the lower courts to act quickly so there's not this patchwork, so it gets back here and they actually answer the question on substance. She goes on to say this: today the court abdicates its vital role in these efforts, saying with the stroke of a pen, the president has, quote, made a solemn mockery of our Constitution. She said, pointing at the president, and then she goes on to blame the court. Rather than stand firm, this court gives way. So clearly the dissent not in line with what has been decided by the majority of this court. Again, we'll continue to read through those concurrences as well.
Andy, here's a little bit.
The Supreme Court, I think it's a wise decision from the Supreme Court, a wise approach. The reason is because they will be able to observe the application of it in states where it's been applied versus states where it's not being applied, and I believe they will have much more data to make decisions on this one. But I do applaud the wisdom these men have when it comes to make a decision. I mean, they are judges for a good reason, in the way that their goal is not only to please their party affiliations or their feelings, but they have to do a mix of everything. So this is an interesting thing to see.